I was thinking about what to talk about today. And if you guys didn't know, like, for me, it's been an adventure of the last couple days, you could say. For those of you that didn't know, I had my bank account hacked a little while back. And in doing so, obviously they change all of your account information and things like that. Well, one of the things that just went unnoticed was my car insurance. So my car insurance lapsed, so I had to get a completely brand new policy and then pay all this back policy stuff. So I had a large expense there. Then after that, I found out, the only reason I found that out is because I had got a flat tire last week. So I took it to the garage, and obviously they wanted registration, stuff like that, and stuff like that. So they call me a couple hours later and they tell me that unfortunately they can't fix the tire. We need a new tire, and that the wheel is cracked. So they need to go send the wheel and get a new wheel to put on this car, which isn't cheap. So I'm like, shit. Okay. So basically it went last week without my car. Had to like Uber to work, and then luckily a friend lent me her car. She was going away, and I get a call from them with the day I'm supposed to get it back, and they tell me, hey, unfortunately it's going to take a little bit longer than we thought because the crack in the wheel was bigger than we thought, so it's going to be a little bit more expensive. And those of you guys know, I mean, from being in stream and whatnot, like money is already tight, but I can honestly sit here and tell you that without that amazing donation stream that we had the other week, I would not have been able to even afford to put the wheel on my car. And that's just a credit to you guys of how amazing you guys are and how grateful I am to be a part of this community and be a part of this family, because without you guys, it wouldn't have been possible. So thank you again from the bottom of my heart, all of you guys that contributed to that. So basically I emptied my bank account. I emptied my bank account to pay for the wheel and tire so that I could get into it from work, right? So I can try to make money. And I got to go home and see my mom for her birthday this weekend. And on my way home, another tire blew. I didn't hit anything. I wasn't doing anything. I was just driving late at night, and a different tire blew. And with where it broke, like punctured or whatever, or blew through, I don't know if they're going to be able to actually just repair it. So I'm probably going to have to get another tire. I have an appointment tomorrow morning to make that happen. So yeah. So I emptied my bank account to fix this last tire, and then this happened on the way home. Luckily my family kind of rallied around it. I'm just so grateful for my nan and my mom, my brother, and my aunt, who kind of tried to send me little bits and pieces to try to make sure that I could afford to eat and get gas. And hopefully this fix isn't too bad on the tire where it's going to be okay. But the reason why I say that, guys, is because when I thought about, like, oh shit, what are we going to talk about for Motivation Monday? I thought about this idea, and I thought about a bow and arrow. And, you know, I thought like, when I thought about the image of an arrow, a bow and arrow, I thought about how that pertains to life. And I thought about how, you know, whenever we're trying to get where we're going, no matter where it is, whether it's personal, professional, spiritual, whatever the case may be, the further that you want to travel in life, the more that life is going to do this thing and pull you back. And it's going to pull you back just like the drawstring on a bow. And if you think about what it means to if you want to shoot a bow, an extended yardage, you've really got to pull back, right? You've really got to pull back on that string to make that bow go. And it got me thinking about how life is the same way. It seems like whenever we start to try to climb in our lives, right, things always happen, right? I'm sure you guys can relate to times in your life where you felt like, you were trying to climb and climb and climb and climb, and no matter how hard you tried to climb, it started to feel like things would pull you back and things would push you back, and you'd have a new obstacle to climb over. And it happens so often where once people start to feel that tug from life or that tug from loved ones, they start to give up. And that's something that you don't think about a lot, right? Is the tug from the people that are close to you, right? See, as you start to strive and reach your goals and go after the things that you want in life, you're going to have a lot of people that care about you that are going to try to pull you back, just like the drawstring, like the bow, because they're going to try to pull you back because they want to protect you. They want to keep you safe. They want to make sure that you don't get hurt. So they want to kind of pull you back, pull you into that comfort zone where they know that they're at, where it may not be sunshine and rainbows, but they at least have a grasp on what's going on, like in that area. And I'm here to tell you, like, you have to use that, and you've got to know that when those things are coming, when it feels like it's as hard as it's going to be, when it feels like it's as heavy as it's going to be, when it feels like every time you take a step forward, there's this rope that's pulling you back, that just means you're that much closer to your next breakthrough. See, one of the things that I believe in, and I definitely needed to be reminded of, is there's a lot of people out there that don't want to see you succeed. There's a lot of things out there that are going to try to weigh you down and try to pull you down because A, they can't have it themselves, so they don't want anybody else to have it. Or B, you're just going against society's norms, right? Like, if everybody had an easy road to millions or happiness or like just a perfect life, we wouldn't be having all of this war and all of this conflict. And it's sad because there's no reason as to why we can't continue to lift up one another. And like, I'm here to tell you that when you feel like life is just pulling you back like the bow, you have to remember that bow and arrow. You have to remember that you are getting pulled back to be sent that much further forward, because you are on a path that you have to have the resistance, right? If you don't have the resistance on that bow, that arrow is not going to fly. You have to be willing to get pulled back and embrace yourself, because guess what? That bitch is going to let go and you are going to go flying. You just have to make sure that you hold on. And so many people let go and lose that tension when things start to get tough, when things start to get rough, when you start to have that stress in your life. Think about it. I'm sure there's many of you in chat that have had that moment where it's like, it's that breaking point. It's like, man, can I really keep doing this? Maybe you're somebody that went to the gym for 4 days in a row and now you can't sit because it hurts so damn bad, because your legs hurt so bad, your body hurts so bad. And maybe you take a rest day because you should take a rest day. You shouldn't be lifting every single day. And you get to the point where it's decision time. I'm supposed to go to the gym today to better my health. Are you going to go? Because you can bet your body's weighing you down, and there's that little birdie in the back of your mind saying, hey, like, it'd be so much easier if we just stayed here. It'd be so much easier if we just stayed here. And, you just think about all of the things in your life and how different it would be if you just listen to that all the time. Maybe some of you are in a situation where you have been listening to it all the time, right? Like, it's kind of the old adage, right? Like, I can go and I can eat broccoli, or I can go and I can eat a Krispy Kreme donut. Because, and let me explain what I mean by that. In the back of my mind, I 150 million% want to go eat the Krispy Kreme donut. Why? Because it tastes freaking amazing. Because I know that I am going to thoroughly enjoy it. Right? That's kind of that short-sighted. That's not a lot of tension on the bow. Right? Versus, okay, I'm going to go have, this bowl of broccoli, which is not obviously as enjoyable at all. However, when I'm on the beach and I'm feeling very confident in the way that my body looks, that is going to be more enjoyable for me than eating that one donut. And that's the tension that I'm talking about. We have these tensions in our lives every single day. Every single day there's some fight, there's some battle that you have to take on. Maybe it's hitting the snooze button in the morning. Maybe it's eating right. Maybe it's exercising. Maybe it's getting those reports done that you don't want to do, or making those phone calls you don't want to make. Maybe it's paying that bill that you have to pay instead of getting that toy that you want to have. Or maybe it's having the conversation with somebody that's important to you, or maybe it's your spouse or significant other, and you're at that point where you avoid that conversation because you don't want that tension. But that tension is what's going to propel your relationship forward. That tension is what's going to propel your life forward. That tension is what's going to propel yourself forward. But so many people are so afraid of that tension, that feeling of being pulled back. They feel like, oh, I've got to get better. I've got to be better. I've got to be better. I've got to be better. Sometimes to be better, you've got to get worse. Because obviously what you're doing, what you are doing is not leading you to where you want to go, or else you wouldn't be having the discussion about what choice I need to make. Right? You just keep doing what you're doing because obviously it's working. You're not sitting there saying, oh man, I got to be better. Because if you were already doing all the things to be better, you would be better. But the funny thing about the word better is it's very relative. It's very relative to the person. Take the donut example, right? One of the guys that I listen to a lot, one of the pastors that I listen to, he talks about that same idea, right? Of like, it is better if I'm concerned about taste to eat the donut. That's the better decision. If I'm severely overweight and I'm looking at food as a way, as I need to get healthier, that's a problem, the broccoli is a better choice. See, the term better is so relative and we don't realize it. Maybe you look at a relationship that you are in or were in, right? I'm sure that everybody in the chat at some point in time was in a relationship with somebody that they felt like they knew in their heart of hearts that it probably wasn't the right relationship for them, right? I can say that, about a previous relationship that I was in that I held in for way too long. And I think in the back of my mind, I knew that it wasn't the right relationship for me. But when I would take that next step and separate a little bit, that didn't feel better. It didn't feel better being alone. It didn't feel better rolling over in bed and not seeing somebody there. It didn't feel better to not have somebody there to hug and kiss and after a long day. It didn't feel better. Even though that I know that that person brought a lot of turmoil and fighting and all kinds of other negative things, in that moment when I'm by myself, it didn't feel better. So many times we then turn and run to the thing that we know is bad for us because it feels better. But that doesn't mean that it is better for us. It's better in that moment. It's better in that situation, right? That's like, you know, I'm single. I've been single now for a little while. You know, so I can really relate to that. But on the flip side, let me give you a different adage, right? It's not always easy being by yourself. And it's very easy to make the decision that feels better to go and run and pick up whoever at the bar at Friday or Saturday, and bring them home. And in that moment, it may feel better, right? For that moment, it will feel better. But then the following morning, when you have that awkward goodbye, right? It doesn't feel better. That's why the better solution is I stay to myself, I hang out with my friends, and the better decision is to just stay and live life and just take everything in that life has to offer instead of trying to find a temporary solution to quote unquote feel better. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying, because we do it so often. We get very short-sighted. We're a very microwave society. We want that quick fix now. Oh, you're hungry? Oh, I'm not going to make a meal for you. Let me get McDonald's. Let me go pop something in the microwave. Even though in that moment, that might be the better decision to satisfy your hunger because you're hungry. To take the time to have a healthy, balanced, cooked meal is the better long-term decision if that's what you're looking for in the long run. If you don't care about your health, eat the Hot Pockets. So I don't like to get in conversations with people, and a lot of times in therapy, I have a lot of people that come up to me and say, I'm just trying to be a better version of myself. And maybe you're somebody in chat that pops into Motivation Mondays and thinks to yourself, man, I just want to be better. Have you ever asked yourself, what does better actually look like? What does better actually feel like? What do you want better to be? Because when you really are dedicated to it and you really want to be better, your feelings don't matter because you have an end goal in mind. After that relationship that I was just talking about a little bit ago, like I took 2 years before I even let somebody else even in the ballpark of like girlfriend. Because even though in the moment it would have felt better to have whoever just hanging around, to have somebody, right? To just feel like you have somebody, to feel like you have to have happiness within somebody else. That's not the better decision for myself, because if I wanted to find the right person, I had to become better. And to become better, I had to get worse. I had to get real depressed, and I had to really have a lot of self-accountability conversations that I didn't want to have. And I had to make a lot of life changes that I didn't want to make. And I had to have so many feelings and work through so much heartbreak and hurt and emotions that I had to go through that it felt worse. Hell, she was emotionally abusive. That's okay. These conversations with myself, this is worse. I can tune that out. You can't tune yourself out. So sometimes you've got to get worse to be better. And in doing so, I became a better version of myself, and I attracted a much better partner than I had before. And now I'm saying it didn't work out. It didn't work out. And that's okay. Because I got better. I'm okay by myself. And I know that because of the battles that I went through before. I hope I'm making sense, guys. And I'm just trying to relate to a personal, because I see so many people on Twitter all the time. Oh, I'm so lonely. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm this sucks. I just wish that I can, have my person. And yeah, are there times when those kinds of thoughts pop in? Absolutely. But that doesn't give you the right to sacrifice your better life for an in the moment better feeling. You're worth more than that. So I would rather go through what I'm going through and become a better version of myself. And I think my friends and family will tell you that I have become a better version of myself going through this breakup, going through what I've went through in the past, because I realized that I sat with it. I've had conversations with friends where I was really down and depressed and in the dumps, and I just sat in my feelings, because that's what it takes sometimes. Sometimes we have to get worse to be better. And the question that I have for you is, are you ready? What does better look like? What are you willing to go through to come out better? But you don't know the answer to that if you don't know what better looks like. See, I can sit here and talk about gym plans and coming up with plans and motivate you to get to the gym. That's all fine and dandy. But what if your better has nothing to do with physical fitness? That's not a better choice for you to go to the gym then. Go read a book. Do what makes you happy. See, that's the thing, is we're so focused on all of the things that society feels like we have to have. We're so focused on it because it's what society says that our life should be. When was the last time that you sat down and drew up, you sat in a quiet room, you had no distractions, no phone, no nothing, and you just thought about what a better life for you would look like? And you just started writing things down. Free of distractions, free of manipulation, free of, influence from the media or TV or friends or family, but for yourself. And you sit there and you think about, what does better look like for me? And you write it down. And then as you look at the list and you sit there and you think, man, yeah, I'd like that. Yeah, I'd like that. Yeah, I'd like to do that. You have to ask yourself, what am I willing to go through? What am I willing to give up? What am I willing to give up to make that better a reality? I'll be honest, 100% honest with you. There's not my life that I want for myself is to be a full-time content creator, to grow a family and a stream that helps out people and who raises awareness around mental health. That is all that I want to do, and everything that I'm doing in my life is to work towards that goal. My past relationship took a toll because I was working towards that goal. Doesn't mean that I'm sitting here saying that you have to get a complete unbalanced life and just throw everything at it, because I've been there, I've done that. That doesn't work either. But you have to be willing to go through shit and get worse to be better. And I think that's the underlying theme of today's message is, when you think of that bow and you feel like all of the things are weighing down on you, I've replaced 4 tires in 2 months. I'm penny to penny every single day. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to pay for my next meal. I'm trying to do all of these things. Yet today, just this is just a prime example, and it's just popped into my head just now. I spent so much time focused on how I'm going to pay for my next meal because I don't want to be hungry. Today I forgot to eat because I was focusing on my better. Because I was doing all of these things with streaming. Flashy will tell you, I have literally been working on this since about noon. Straight. But it just goes to show you, how when you put the focus on what it is that is important to you, now it was better for me to get this stuff done, to be having this awesome stream with all these new alerts and new features and all the things that are going into it. Because that's my better. That's what I want. So my question is, what do you want? What does your better look like? Take some time and figure that out, and stop wasting time not having a direction, not knowing where you're going. Because if you do that, then you're always going to choose the donut. You're always going to choose the path of least resistance. Why? Because you're not ready to go through it. You're not ready to get worse to be better. What are you willing to take? What is the price you're willing to pay for the life you've always wanted? That's what you have to ask yourself. Are you ready to get worse to be better? Only you can answer that question. I can't answer that question.